Welcome back. Day 6 of the Elizabeth Holmes jury decision, and no decision just yet, but we have Yahoo Finance's Alexis Keenan on standby as always. And Alexis, what's the mood like down there? Gotta ask.
Okay. It is definitely one of anticipation, but also a little bit of exhaustion, I think, too. Most of the reporters here standing by at the courthouse, like I am, sitting on the floor, waiting to see if the jurors have something to say, whether it's a verdict or otherwise. We're about 3+ hours into day 6 of jury deliberations at this point. So that in total, the jury has been weighing evidence now for about a 40-hour work week, just a little more than that. So if there's no verdict today, tomorrow leaves one more day to deliberate before the end of the year because Friday is a court holiday. Jurors, of course, tasked with deciding the fate of former Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes, who prosecutors say fleeced investors and paying customers out of millions of dollars by way of her blood testing company. Now, while the jury has been very quiet today and the last few days, there was some court action yesterday, but it was court action to which media and the public were not privy. Just after 11 o'clock in the morning, there was a 23-minute sealed proceeding held in court with both the prosecuting attorneys and the defense attorneys present. Also, the transcript for that proceeding sealed, so we do not know what the contents of that proceeding was. Now, while there's no way to know for sure, experts tell me that it likely relates to personal scheduling matters for one or more jurors. Perhaps there are conflicts with the schedule of deliberations. Another possibility, given ongoing COVID concerns, is that a juror could be feeling ill or symptomatic, though that being probably less likely at this point in the day, given that deliberations seem to be ongoing. Now, absent extraordinary circumstances, substantive issues, those would be dealt with in open court. So if there was something that had to do with the meat of the case, we would be all convening back in court and hearing about that most likely. But as for deliberations to continue, all jurors must be present. So if there is a scheduling matter, that would delay things a bit here. Another mystery today, 2 sealed court documents were entered into the docket. Those were filed just minutes ago. Those opaque to the public and journalists as well, so we don't know what those say. So I'll be waiting here at the courthouse, and certainly we'll let you know if we hear of any rumblings from the jury or from the courtroom. Guys?
Yeah, and we can't wait for that to finally happen. Hopefully it happens this year. But my next question to you is, what happens if it doesn't? I mean, we can go into 2022, but at what point, what's the likelihood that we get a hung jury here?
Yeah, so the likelihood of a hung jury, in theory, is more so as more days go on. This certainly could go into the new year. This is not the sort of thing that would be likely to be a hung jury before we would postpone and go into the following year. The jurors have been deliberating for 5.5 days approximately. And, you know, a lot of these white-collar cases, when particularly having to do with fraud, there are dozens of cases that you can look at, and famous ones, in fact, that have gone on with jury deliberations for 2-3 weeks. So we're not really at the point yet where we would expect a hung jury, although jurors can, raise their hands at any point and say, we're not reaching a conclusion. At this juncture, though, I would expect that the judge would encourage more deliberations if they did raise that concern.
Well, thank you for that report, and we'll be waiting on pins and needles for that eventual result, whatever it is. Yahoo Finance's Alexis Keenan.